WELSTech is a bi-weekly podcast exploring the intersections of technology and ministry. It is part of the podcast network sponsored by WELS, the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod. Our show today is hosted by Martin Spriggs and Sally Draper. Welcome back to WELSTech, everybody. This is episode 747, and we are recording this on April 3rd, 2025, and that's a Thursday this year. My name is Martin Spriggs, and this is a show about technology and ministry and where those two intersect. And joining me, as usual, from North Mankato, Sally Draper. Hello, Sally.
Hi, Martin. Happy to be joining you today. I don't know about you, but it's a cloudy day here. It's the April showers kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's the season of Lent. And I just wanted to make mention of how much I really like the season of Lent. It's a hard season to get through when we focus so much on our Savior's work and why he did that work for us. But man, we had an amazing sermon yesterday from Pastor Tim Borman from St. Mark's in Mankato. We do the pastor rotation thing, and that's always a neat thing as well. I look forward to that each time. And
we had Wayne Chevy from Wisconsin Lutheran College in our rotation yesterday. So awesome. Good sermon as usual.
Yeah,
he's one of the happiest guys I know. No, it's neat to hear your own pastor, but it's also neat to have that rotation where you get to hear some other voices, other approaches, other styles. So, and I like, a lot of people kind of dread the Lenten hymns, the minor keys, whatever. I kind of like those, and maybe that's more suited to my voice. I don't know what that says about me, but I enjoy them. And with the new hymnal, there are some newer Lenten hymns that are a little more singable, a little more toe tappy, maybe. So that's kind of nice too.
Technical term you're throwing at us there this morning, toe tappy.
Toe tappy, yeah, exactly. Okay. So anyway, so it is Lent, but the show continues, and the topics that we select are, anybody who's ever listened to the show for more than one episode know that they can go from east to west, north to south. We're kind of all over the board. And that's kind of the fun part of the show. You never quite know what you're going to get. Rarely, and this is one of those rare shows, do we devote to kind of a product, a software product. And the reason we're doing it is that this one seems to have so much attention, especially in ministry circles, I want to say, but elsewhere as well. And it is just a tool that it seems like almost everybody uses, and that is Canva. And I'm going to let Sally kind of show off her Canva skills today and talk a little bit more about it. But I'm excited to listen because I think in Canva, there's a tool that very approachable, can pick up. There's a lot of tutorials out there. It's something that even a novice can produce some decent results and provide some nice looking graphics for whether it be a website or a social media post or a newsletter, whatever. Canva, I think, delivers, and it's evolved over the years too. So, Sally, what's your take on Canva? You're a user. What do you think?
I think it's worth its weight in gold.
Worth a show?
How about that? Worth dedicating a WELSTech to. Okay. And I hope I do it justice today, just to give you a very quick walkthrough of some of the capabilities that I've found just super helpful to me. I think it can be a time saver. I think that they're very aggressively evolving the product. And especially you'll see as you work with it, a lot of AI type things that are built into it. But besides that, literally millions of designs available to use. I have my screen up, and I think the best place to start
And
is
we'll
to,
do the best we can for you that don't watch the show but listen. So we'll do some narration as we go here, so you won't be left out. But
yeah,
it is obviously a visual tool.
yeah, you'll have to keep me honest, Martin, if I
Right.
stray from that. But yeah, I thought the best place to start was maybe to talk about pricing. And actually, we covered it within the last 3 or 4 months or so. Canva got some somewhat negative press that they had really upped their pricing. So they definitely have a free version. But as you use the free version, you're going to see crowns everywhere, and those little crowns indicate the paid version and the things you can't get to with the free version. And so the free version gives you a lot of capabilities. You can tap into all their designs, but oftentimes if you want to use those pro versions, then there's a price tag associated with the design. So you can either pay for the subscription or pay individually for image components and things that you see that you want to make use of. It's kind of a trade-off there. They give you 5 gig of cloud storage. I think it would take a while to fill up 5 gig of cloud storage, but you're definitely busy creating lots of things in Canva. So when you jump to the pro version, it's $120 a year, and that's per person. If you were to go with a Teams type approach, it's $100 per person, but you have a minimum of 3 people on a team. So $300 per year to get a team. Now, I tell you that because there's good news that follows, and that is that Canva is free for education, that Canva Pro type level. You can get it for your school and have kind of team sharing. It's also free for nonprofits. And so we'll have links in the show notes to where you can fill out those applications and get the free version of that $120 a year per person kind of experience and all those millions of graphics that you can access for free. So get that out of the way, let you know that once you have that pro version, you're up to 1 TB of cloud storage. So I don't think you're going to be filling that up anytime soon. And so definitely go through the process. I did it myself for Wells, and it's not a difficult thing to do to get the free version. And then what you're going to land on is the Canva homepage. And the homepage is really kind of your launching point. It shows you all of the files that you've created in Canva, as well as gives you the option to create new files and share files and things like that. Baked into Canva are a lot of common formats that people use. And so you're thinking Canva at this point, as I'm describing it, is basically an image editing tool or an image creation tool. So things like social media formats, if you want to do a Facebook cover image or a Pinterest post or an Instagram post, you're going to have easy access to those kind of things. And there's, links right here on this page. You can pick custom sizes if you want. You can upload your own images. It's just a really easy starting point to get to that. I typically work with Instagram size, which is a square, or at least it is currently. They might change their Instagram criteria soon because Instagram's expanded to more longer images. But I typically work with a 1080 by 1080 Instagram size when I'm creating images for the WELSTech podcast. As a matter of fact, here's one in my repertoire that I created for the last podcast we recorded, which was one with Jason and Rachel. Jason was in a suit. Rachel got her PhD. So we made it Doctors in Suits. That was the title. And I created a square image. I usually try to throw the WELSTech logo on there and the episode number, maybe a link to WELSTech, whatever, to kind of make up that image that we use on the website to promote the show on social media, etc. And so, again, from the homepage, you can get to those images that you've created in the past right there, kind of at your fingertips. Very easy to open. You can also easily copy an image if you want to just make a different version of it or whatever. So there's a make a copy option, and you can open that image right up and change things about it. So quick and easy to do.
So let me ask you something, Sally.
Sure.
You've got all these files. These are all now cloud hosted.
Hmm.
Um, if you don't pay or you lose your subscription or whatever, do you no longer have access to these, or can you download them? What format are they in, for instance?
Well, great questions. There were multiple there. Um, any image that you create, you can easily download. There's a share button here. And when you click on download, you get the options for downloading. So you're able to download in JPEG, PNG, standard PDF or a print quality PDF. You can download SVGs if you have the Pro membership. You can download things as videos, as GIFs, or as PowerPoint format. So
Hmm.
lots of options for download. There's also, quick and easy to um, if you had multiple images, you can download just one of them or whatever, because all of your files in Canva can have multiple pages to them. So
Ah,
I made a
okay.
copy of the file, but I could also come into a file and just duplicate a page and have a new page with a copy of the file. And then
Hmm.
when I go to download, I can choose between the different pages that are there. I can select them
Okay.
all. I can select just the current. Some of my work in Canva has 10 or 12 pages. You just never know. And so it'll zip them up if you're doing multiple pages or whatever.
So you
So
do a lot of your work for, at least for our show, for kind of screen ready images. So they're not super high resolution. They need to download quickly. But Canva can also support, let's say, brochure creation or flyers or posters. Yes?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It has PowerPoint capabilities. It does video. It can do all different types. And when you do that kind of thing, the brochure, let's just type flyer up here and search. So as a starting point, you can type in a word and search for it, and they give you kind of different dimensions and designs. So you can start with a template that already exists and make changes to it. Um, when you do that kind of thing, I'll just pick the first one in the list and say customize. It gives you options for printing. And so they have kind of baked into their solutions their own print shop, basically. And so if you wanted to, you can even print with Canva. There's a button right up here at the top, and it kind of recognizes that things are in a format that might be print worthy or whatever. Let's just see what dimensions. This one is just 1545 by 2000. But
Okay.
apparently that's like a standard dimension. Oh, and while we're talking about that, maybe you wanted yours to be more of a custom size. Let's see, 8.5 by 11 is the default, but maybe you want it to be a poster, 18 by 24. Canva has a kind of a magical resize built into their Pro plan where it'll take the image components and size them to different sizes. So it just created a poster size for me. And it basically ported everything right over, just resized them appropriately for that larger dimensions now. So if I looked at the dimensions of poster size, it's 1728 by 2304, slightly different than what we had previously for the flyer size. But that magical resize could even be taking it to like a Facebook cover that's landscape
Right.
and really stretched
Multiple
out or whatever.
formats with the
It
same
it
design. Yeah.
yeah, it'll take that into consideration. So I picked a flyer design, but if I decide that I don't like that flyer design, I can click over here to design and have a whole bunch more suggestions and easily switch to something different. I don't know what all these are about, but let's say I like this design better or whatever, I can easily just switch. I can have it port the content. So Oh, and there's an undo if I decided I didn't like that. You can Control Z, which is kind of the keyboard shortcut to undo. That works in Canva as well. Um, but if I had changed something about this design, like put WELSTech in here or something like that, I was hoping it would maybe wrap to 2 lines the way it had it previously. I can make it do that by making the text area smaller. Now, if I were to apply one of these designs, it would ask me, do I want to replace the current page or add it as a new page? And it did replace because that's what I chose. But if you've done a lot of content on it, it can port over some of the things that you have in your area. It didn't keep WELSTech, it didn't look like.
Nice.
But yeah, lots of capabilities there. And again, you can do searching. So I think what I'll do is go back to the homepage and start an Instagram type. So I'm just going to get back to home and click on the Instagram post. And I'm going to try making one for WELSTech for this episode. So I'm going to say that we're doing behind the scenes. Whoops. I haven't practiced this in advance, so I have no idea what's going to come up, but different behind the scenes imagery, design templates, that kind of thing came up for me to choose from. Um, so perhaps I'd want to use this one and include an image of Martin and I. I did prep just a tiny bit for that. And I have a Martin and Sally image here. It shows an image on the screen, but I can just easily take anything that I've uploaded and replace it there. So that's an option. I maybe don't like this design after all, and so I might want to switch to something different and go back to uploads and throw our picture in there. And perhaps I don't want my face to be hidden behind the text that's on the screen. And so I can actually click into this picture and do some resizing. It looks like it's applied some filter that was just part of the design. So I think I'm still going to be behind the words, but that's okay. I can move those words. But one thing I really like about imagery is it has a really excellent background remover. So if I just click background remover, and hopefully it's going to work for me, you can see there that it took the background
That's
off.
nice. Did a nice job too.
Yeah, it's very precise. And so I'm going to move this box up some, move this text. Whoops, I grabbed the box instead. Sometimes you have trouble grabbing things, but there's actually layers here, and they call it position in Canva, but you can kind of reveal what all the different layers are that are part of this image. And you can find layers easily that way or remove layers easily that way. You can throw your logo in here. You can edit to your heart's content. Yeah, I might not be really thrilled with the, I don't know, maybe that's the coloring of this picture and I just didn't realize it, but it looks like it's applied kind of a filter to it. So anyway, pretty easy to jump around with the position thing and also make changes to the imagery that way. I'm going to reference my notes and make sure I'm pulling in all the different things. I demonstrated a little bit ago something that they have in Elements called frames, which are really neat. So Elements has all kinds of things that you can add to your imagery. Stickers and photos and frames in particular. So if I didn't want us to be in that rectangle, I could add a frame that looks like a circle and take our uploaded picture and drag it into that circle. I didn't quite drop it right. There it goes. And again, I can move it around and click done. And now we're in a circle instead. I could get rid of this one completely, get rid of that frame, move this circle over here. And again, click my magic background remover. And there we are in a circle. So lots of easy ways to work with it once you've gotten used to the tool set that's over here. Again, design is huge. Elements, where you can find just about anything or even generate things with AI. Um, really popular to use the elements. And then you can have your own brand kit when you're a pro. So that's where I have our logos, our different logos stored, easy access to those, and can throw them into any design that I want to work with. Lots of potential there. Uh, Also, you can access under projects all of your other work. And so you can see all the different things that I've been working on recently, pull in any components of those, and add them to your project. If you don't do it on a new page, it might overwrite what you have there. So access to all kinds of things, and I haven't even touched on apps. So apps is where you can add all kinds of additional extensions, if you may. And they have everything from AI, different photos and things, that ways you can work with photos if you want to pixelate your photos, or do all kinds of different things to your photos, changing your backgrounds, QR creation. So if you want a QR code to include in your imagery that you're doing, any of that kind of stuff can be found under apps. And it's a really growing list all the time. I'm so surprised by all the new things they're constantly adding in the apps area. Magic Media is one where you can generate AI images. So you don't need to go do that in a different tool like DALL-E or Midjourney or whatever. You can do it right here, baked into your Canva. And the list goes on and on. I have several of them that I've played with or heard about over time, um, and just really have been impressed with the different apps that are out there to extend Canva.
Nice.
So, what questions do you have, Martin?
So if somebody wanted to learn, what kind of learning resources are out there? And are there specific resources for using Canva in a church or a school?
Well, that's going to be covered in our ministry resource section. And yes, there
Yeah.
are.
Okay.
But I'm going to hold on to that church or school question for you.
Okay.
As far as learning, I think your best bet is probably to just Google anything that you're looking to do and see what videos are out there on YouTube, because that's basically how I learned, is just watching people. So for instance, if I wanted to use Magic Media, I might just try it out and then Google some videos or whatever to learn. That's the best that I can recommend.
Okay.
They do have help baked in. It's typically text. Not a lot of, they don't put a lot of time into screenshots, and I understand why, because it's constantly changing and stuff. But to get the concepts, I think if you're comfortable with looking for designs, um, elements, you can find just about anything there that you'd want to add um, to your content. I didn't touch on text, but there's a million text combinations. If you want to add anything special, you can. Oh, I should just go ahead and walk through text just a little. I just added something that has kind of two colors to it with my text. So I might edit this text and put in, Canva to the max or something like that. Whatever you might want to put. Um, yeah. Then you can click on the coloring and easily change, and your brand colors show up there. So maybe we'd want to use the blue that
That's
we use for
quick.
WELSTech. And then it says, do you want to change just one or change all? You can change all, and it'll change everything that had that color on the screen to this new color. Maybe the other color that's here is actually under effects. So it's doing like a shadow type of effect. And so I can click on it here and choose our other brand color. And just like that, make those changes. So working with colors is really nice because you can build your own color palette. So they give you some default colors. They also pick up colors that are part of any image that's on the screen. So if you want to kind of match up your coloring to images that are on the screen, you can do that very easily because they pick those up for you. But building your own color palettes is another really powerful tool in Canva so that you have like a default color palette that you're always using. Certainly, you
Mhm.
can add it to your brand colors, but you can have your own by just clicking edit and add a palette. And then, whatever colors you want to add, you just press enter and that becomes a color palette. You can name the palette and use that over and over again. It'll show up each time you go to text coloring. So pretty
Or
powerful
pick
there.
photos, pick colors from photos you've uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, and I don't know how much you've used the AI feature, but you could uh, probably interact with its prompts. Just let's say, pick one of the photos I've uploaded loaded in this folder or this category. Let's say it's a small group ministry flyer you're building, or maybe a blog post or a Instagram post, and overlay it with, this date and time for a meeting, and, big bold print in this color scheme. And it would give you something where you could basically start from a blank canvas and it would kind of assemble it for you.
So my experience with at least the Magic Media, which there's probably many others to try as well, is more the experience of giving it a prompt and it generating a photo based on your prompt.
Okay.
Um,
But you've got
if
a AI button at the bottom there too, right?
I do this one,
Yep.
that's
Oh,
quick
that's quick
actions.
actions. Okay.
So effects, fonts, font size, things that are
And that's going to
context
apply to something
sensitive
that's
to
on
what
the
you have
screen.
selected.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, yeah. So if you want overlaid text and things like that, I would say starting with a design is the easiest way to kind of get a cohesive look. And, I still have that behind the scenes type there, but there's just a million designs and
Mm-hmm.
getting specific, maybe it's an Easter theme. I don't know, let's type church Easter and you're getting,
Oh, ton of
sunrises.
them. Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
lots of cross on the hill type images, Palm Sunday, on and on. So
And all are really sharp looking. These are
they
not
are
just amateurish kinds of things.
much better than I could ever create on my own for sure,
Mm-hmm.
because that is definitely an area I lack. But yeah, a beautiful cross and a sunrise and then, once you pick one, it realizes, oh, you're interested in crosses and sunrises. Let me show you more that are more specific to that. And you can switch it, here's one with a crown of thorns, whatever. So digging into the templates, the design templates, I think is one of the major powerhouses. I haven't even touched on presentations and documents. There's AI that will pick up your voice and change uh, content to your voice that it's created with the AI. There's
Mm-hmm.
on and on. Lots of potential there. And, I think we could slide right into that ministry resource now, and I'll just show you that Canva has its own curated page supporting church presentations. So we'll have a link to this in the show notes, but they actually kind of walk you through creating presentations in Canva. And also, they have a curated page of just church related templates. So this is them going out doing the work for us to show us that they have this content here that's very um, worthy of using in church settings. There's lots of opportunities to make use of their templates and customize, but an incredible starting point. So,
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, on the presentation side, I'm not a big expert by any stretch of Canva. We used it a little bit at our AI summit. And so that was kind of my first touch on it for use as a presentation tool, and it was pretty slick. I could have a Canva presentation, but also you could download the app on, let's say, an iPad, and it could act as your controller for slide advancing or annotation, on the slide that was being presented from your computer. So it was, and it worked across, not, you didn't have to be on the same network even, it worked through the Canva cloud. So that was pretty slick. So you could present remotely, have control over the presentation experience without standing at the computer. So education application here too.
Hmm. And the presentations come with lots of different slide layouts and things like that. It's not just a,
Animations, it's kind of a PowerPoint
hmm
replacement.
hmm and can be downloaded in PowerPoint format if you needed a
Mm-hmm.
download of it. So
Mm-hmm.
lots
Nice.
of capabilities there. So
Okay.
I think we could definitely put Canva in the Swiss Army knife kind of classification because it has a lot going for it. Just yesterday, as I was experimenting, I looked at a whiteboard for the first time. So you can get your team together on a whiteboard and add post-it notes and get things organized. They have introductory examples and things like that to help you get started with whiteboarding even. So lots of capabilities there.
Sure. What about infographics? Have you played with that? I assume that's in here too.
Yes, definitely. So again, your design can be basically any dimensions that you want it to be. And so I have created infographics here, things that we've used on WELSTech before. So
Mm.
live streaming
Hmm.
considerations for church services. And I just made it an extremely long and then eventually cropped it to the size that I needed. And you can do all those things. It does have, the capability to align things and just the typical kind of things you're going to want to do as you do image layout and stuff on the page. Very capable of those. So,
Nice. Great
yeah.
overview, Sally. Thank you.
We also have a few blog posts that we'll link to in the ministry resource area about make the most out of Canva for your church. I think there's some Google videos, I'm sorry, some YouTube videos that I'll link to as well. One guy had one of 5 ingenious uses for churches, and he had examples like taking an image from your sermon video and using it to put a quote and, promote the sermon video or whatever it may be. Creating event flyers was on the list, doing series graphics. So if you're creating something for a sermon series over time, you could use Canva to come up with those graphics for that. So lots of capabilities. He actually said he uses a presentation that's just set to autoplay to do the church announcement zone and run it, on the screen prior to and after service or whatever. So
Nice.
yeah, lots of
That's
great
a great
ideas out there.
ministry tool. Awesome. Yeah.
And
And
the
the
price tag.
price, obviously, right. Yeah.
Can't argue
So
with that.
cool.
So
Cool.
got it going
All
on.
right. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Sally. And if you are truly interested and kind of missed out on the visuals, that'd be a good reason to visit our show notes page and watch the show or rewatch and listen to the show at wellstech.wells.net. Try and be as audio friendly as possible, but with a tool like this, sometimes it's helpful to see. So, but hopefully this is whet your appetite. And I think that, like I said at the beginning, this makes design, good design, very approachable to a lot more people who may have the desire, but maybe not the built-in design capabilities. But now that you've got these awesome templates and you're just kind of moving stuff around and doing some tweaks, I think that's a win,
For
for our
sure.
churches and schools. So take a look. Yeah, and certainly much more approachable and cheaper than things like Photoshop and those, that category of tooling, which is more for professionals. So very nice. We already did ministry resources, so thank
Moved
you
it
for
right in.
sharing that. Let's move on to our picks of the week.
and I'm up
That yours
first.
is Canva related. Yeah.
It is. I'm going to go back to my screen and open one of my images and share my screen again. So, what I wanted to highlight here, make sure I'm using the right thing, is the capability of Canva to do bulk. And by that, I think that's kind of their term. I think I did that wrong. Let me go back home and click on my certificate and click into my certificate to look at this bulk capability. So that's basically their term for mail merge. So I'm going to call it, um, yeah, bulk. And basically, I have an
Ah.
app called Bulk Create here, and I have an example of a certificate. It's a template that I just grabbed real quick to show as an example for the Olivia Nail Academy that someone's completed. So obviously, you would customize this for whatever your needs are, but you can actually upload Excel or CSV files with different data elements that are on the screen, and it gives you some samples, but you can put in whatever types of data elements you want. For instance, I'm going to put in a name here, and I'm going to put in my name as the first person. So it'd be really nice if you are using a an upload, an Excel file of the students in your classroom or whatever it may be. It could be 20 lines long, it could be 50 lines long, whatever you need it to be. You can actually add columns that have an image in it. And so if you wanted to specify a specific image for each individual kid, you could put that in as a column in your list. And then when you're done with creating your data, then you move on to placing it. So I need a place for the name, and I'm actually going to grab this field right here. Right click an element on your page to connect it. So I'm going to right click on here, and I'm going to say connect data, and I'm going to connect it to the name field. And then I'm actually going to, well, I don't really have a place for that image built into here. Maybe I do if I try right clicking on this. Nope. I don't have a good place for the image built in, so I didn't get as prepared as I should. But the idea is if you had an image on the screen, you could right click and do that as well. I've associated the name field with this name on the document, and I'm going to press continue, and it'll give me the list of people that are in my Excel file or CSV file that I uploaded or that I typed in, and I can unselect if I don't want this for everyone, and then I can tell it to generate, and it would literally build 20 or 50 or however many names were in that bulk as a certificate personalized. And then I could just go to the download and get a zip file with all my certificates ready to print. So I think that would be super helpful. It doesn't have to be a certificate, it could be anything. And the fact that you can include imagery in there and that kind of thing is really impressive as well.
Yeah,
So,
anything you do in bulk. I'm thinking like a new member profile that you post on the
yep,
Narthex bulletin board. You just have a template and then you just plug in the names, pictures,
there you go.
descriptions, bios, whatever. Cool.
Exactly.
I like
And
it.
really quick and easy to do. So, a great way to differentiate. You create one design and you have however many you need. So,
Sweet.
bulk create. That's just one of those apps that you can add in to your Canva experience.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Sally.
Uh-huh.
My pick of the week is actually a hardware pick, and I've done some of these types of picks before. Obviously, most people use a phone case, and no different. Normally, that's one of the first things I do when I get a new phone is put a case on it. And I've come across a company that I'm really pleased with their product, and it's called Pitaka, Pitaka. Hong Kong company, but I think they distribute locally now. When I first started using them, it took forever to ship from overseas, from Asia. Now I think it's much faster. I think you can get these on Amazon. But one of the neat things about two neat things, well, maybe three neat things. I like the designs. Uh, Second thing is these cases are super light. I hate adding a case that adds a lot of bulk to a phone. I basically want it to be like I don't even know it's there, but still provide protection. The third thing I like is that of the material that it's made with. It's made of an aramid fiber, so it's kind of a woven synthetic product, and so it's fairly grippy, and it kind of has a nice woven look. So it doesn't show fingerprints. It's easy to clean. It's just kind of a nice design and fits nicely on the phone. It's easy to get off and on. They make them for iPhones, I think Samsung phones and Google Pixel. So I think those are the main three, but in most of the sizes and nice colors. They're all kind of earth tony colors. I think maybe that's the nature of what they can do with the aramid fibers. Um, I use something called Moonrise. There's a desert or a sunset. There's black and some more solid colors, but they all kind of have this aramid fiber woven um, feel and look to them. They aren't super cheap, so you're making an investment. But the one that I've got on my iPhone is about 2 years old and looks. I've dropped it a couple times, so there's a little bit of a ding in one corner, but it looks basically like when I received it. Um, so they hold up super well. They have nice cutouts for the buttons, and just super impressed with the quality of these cases. So I'm kind of done buying the cheapy, off the shelf ones that either yellow, like I've had clear cases in the past where they've yellowed and
Mhm.
they crack and they're hard to get off and they add bulk. These are none of that. So big fan. They also have cases for our watch bands. I think they have cases for Apple Watches. They have battery packs that match your case. So if you need a battery pack for a mag case, battery pack, they have matching aramid fiber wrappers around those. So they have some other ancillary products. They have products for iPads as well. So protective cases for that. And yeah, I really like the product. The cases are kind of in that $50 to $70 range, so that's kind of high. But again, if you're only getting one and it lasts the life of your expensive smartphone, it's a good investment. They always fit well. They have nice magnets if you're using an iPhone, or even if you're using an Android phone. They have good MagSafe battery connectors so they don't come loose. Just a great product. Really impressed.
And sometimes things go on sale there, so
They
lots
do.
of lots of options. I love the look.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fun.
Really nice.
Fun.
Yeah. I looked over at my son-in-law the other day and he had the exact same phone case I had.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah.
He must have liked
So
yours a lot. So,
he did. So that's good. Good stuff.
mhm.
All right. Let's move on with our community news and feedback. First up, we heard from Michael Vlieger at Risen Savior. Um, he sent us an email entitled Programming with AI. I'm not a skilled coder by any stretch of the imagination, but over the past few months, I've developed a couple of web-based tools with the assistance of Gemini and ChatGPT I think others might find useful. The first replicates the classic eraser game. Users input text and the application generates an exercise where clicking on a word causes it to disappear. I plan to add a reset button to eliminate the need to repaste. And we'll put links because he's made these publicly available. Second tool helps to identify banned words within student writing. Our writing series includes a specific banned word list for each lesson. but students and I occasionally overlook these during the review process. The tool allows users to input a list of banned words and their text and provides a count of each banned word's occurrence within the document, which can be printed. Um, Feel free to share the pages on my site. I'm also willing to share the code of both tools. Actually, there was a third tool as well. The banned word checker also has a Python script version. So this is kind of the future, I think, of coding, not just for amateurs trying to build cool tools like Michael did, but for professionals as well, where you can ask an AI to help you build stuff, which is pretty cool. And he's got some video examples. If you don't actually want to try out the tool, you can just watch his YouTube videos where he demonstrates what these tools do. So thanks so much, Michael, for putting that together. It's more than we would expect anybody to do. Just contributing to the show this way is awesome. So thanks.
Yeah, really impressive programming on Michael's part. So cool stuff.
Yep.
Blessed to have him here in Mankato at Risen Savior.
Hmm.
Also wanted to make mention that there's been some activity over in the WELSTech Google group. If you aren't a member of that, you can rush right on over. We'll have the link in our show notes and tap into just an amazing group of people who are willing to share their knowledge as people have challenges and questions. Apparently, at Winnebago, there was some challenges around the pre-ACT testing with screen reader accommodation. And interestingly, someone was able to jump in and help out, give some advice. And I think it was Josh Shanek over at KML that said that there's like a third party software involved, which was not clear apparently in any of the instructions that this teacher received. So neat that that help was given and the problem was solved. The other question that's floating around right now is related to AI, believe it or not. Ryan Rosenthal, who's out at Nebraska Lutheran, said they're looking to establish AI policy. And there were some questions around whether it was for students or teachers or what, and they were looking for any and all. So a couple of different people shared, both of them from our AI Summit. Yay, AI Summit
Imagine
folks.
that.
Kristen
Yeah.
Nickelvine and Michael Plucker both shared AI policies that they're either in process of developing or have developed. And I think at St. Paul's in New Ulm, they wrapped it right into their technology acceptable use policy. So it's just a section of that. And then Michael also shared some links, a link from Eric Curtis where he shared just drafting AI policy stuff, uh, managing AI in schools, just general content around that. And yesterday, just in my regular reading, I came across an article. It was from a public school system in Massachusetts where they're drafting AI policies. So I think we're all right there in the same boat together. And we'll definitely post links to the two policies that were shared through the Google group. But if you have policies that are in development or have been put in place around AI, we would really love hearing from you and sharing those as well. So,
Very nice. All right. I think that's a full show. Sal, you get extra pay for this one, all your work. So
right.
don't spend that all in one place. Um, I want to thank all of our listeners. We're going to do this show again in a couple weeks, and we've got special guest joinings to talk about couple things, creating art, digital art and other art, and using social media to share it and teach it. So we're going to welcome a guest on and talk about that too. So please join us again. As we mentioned in the show, wellstech.wells.net is the show notes page. You can find every show we've ever done there with all the show notes that Sally so diligently keeps up with every pick and every ministry resource and all of our interviews and picks of the week and all kinds of good stuff there. So if you want to stay up on the show or also contribute to the show, that's the place to go and all the links to our socials, etc. So really do appreciate you listening, and you make the show go. And it's important that we try and meet your needs. So if we're not, and if you'd like us to talk about things that maybe are of interest to you, let us know that too. We'd love to hear that. So that's going to be it for this week. Blessings on your Lenten journey, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.